River reed salt or chumvi kienyeji is prepared from the reeds of the mature plant that grows along Zoya River. Once extracted, the salt is often sold in tiny quantities to locals, international chefs, and luxury hotel owners. Customers describe its saltiness as strong and umami-like.
I buy the river reed salt because of, I will say, the magic in it. The texture is smooth, it is not rough or coarse. For those who have tasted umami from Japan, it tastes almost the same, but this one has more of a sharp taste. So when you're cooking with it, you won't use a lot of it.
Today, the only place the salt is traditionally made is the village of Nabuyole in Webuye constituency of Bungoma County. In the Nzoia River, it is best to harvest the river reeds early in the morning due to the dangers one might encounter at the river like snakes and crocodiles. To avoid coming into contact with them, the harvester need to start this process early in the morning.
Kwa sababu huwa nyoka zinatembea mchana kama jua inakuja, lakini asubuhi baridi iko haitembei. Sasa tunaenda huko kwa sababu ya hiyo vitu bado ingali kwa mashimo.
Harvesters must look for mature river reeds. The concentration of salt will be too low if the reed is not at least 2 meters tall and the blossoms at the top wilted and virtually dried. Harvesters hack at the ripe reeds, taking care not to uproot the plant or cut too close to the roots. This allows the reeds to recover more quickly and the roots to continue to spread onto other rocks. Only reeds with a high salt content are worth the effort because harvesters can produce enough salt to sell from them.
Kuja namna hii maji ilikuja na kujana uchafu, lakini kuja na mimba kama vile imekuwa hapa namna hii. Sasa ikifika hapa hivi usipoichunga vizuri, ukianza kukata kumbe umeshika mimba halafu na kutunga. Au saa zingine unajikata hivi. Vile huyu amejikata hapa saa hii. Sasa hiyo ni changamoto ya hapa.
After a long day of navigating the waters of the Nzoia River, the harvesters leave the riverbank with a lot of reeds.
Sasa hii ndio tumepata na ingine bado ingali iko nyumbani. Tunafurahia leo. Hapa yote vile iko hivi nikichoma itaweza kuwa kama grams 200 hivi. Hapa itaweza kuwa vijiko grams 200, vijiko 20.
Those 20 tablespoons will sell for about 2,000 Kenyan shillings. Now they can begin the long manual process of extracting the salt. First, Andrew must dry the reeds. Drying the reeds can take up to 4 days when the skies are sunny, but in cloudier weather, this will take longer. To begin processing, he has to burn all the reeds for 1 to 3 days. Once all the reeds turn to ash, Andrew places them into a large pot with draining holes. Then he slowly adds water. The water filters through the ashes in the holes, each drop collecting at the bottom. He then pours those droplets through another filter and into an aluminium pan. Next, he places the pan over an open fire, where the solution is left to boil until the liquid evaporates. Finally, after a full day's work, Andrew is left with this wet, salty paste. The next day, he packs the paste into banana leaves and places them under hot ashes to dry. After 3 hours, the salt hardens. From reed to salt, the process takes at least 8 days. Andrew will then sell this salt in banana leaves. This is the same long process his family has practiced for generations.
Sasa miaka 20 na kwa kupata vile walikuwa wanatengeneza, baba wangu ndiye alikuwa anatengeneza, alafu nami nikajifunza kutoka kwa baba yangu mzazi.
It's believed that the tradition began in the 17th century when the Bukusu people migrated eastward from the Congo. At the time, areas in western Kenya were cut off from all salt routes. So they set out to find a way to extract salt from these aquatic plants. Centuries later, the salt that was made out of necessity became a pricey commodity. At the market, a pack containing just 3 tablespoons of river reed salt cost about 300 shillings and the larger pack cost 700 shillings. It's likely to sell because local demand is high. Buyers know the intense work put into making this salt, so for them, the price is worth it. Although there aren't studies to confirm it, market sellers say part of what keeps the salt in high demand locally is the belief that it has medicinal properties, but the most notable feature is its taste. In fact, this river reed salt won the title for the most unique indigenous salt at an international gastronomy exhibition in Italy 2014. Slow Food, one of the organizers of the exhibition, established a presidium in 2009 for Kenya's river reed salt to drive more demand for the product. But fulfilling that demand would require more supply, which is difficult when the production is so limited. One of the biggest threats to river reed salt production is climate change. According to Slow Food, the growing population in Kenya has led to deforestation. Indigenous trees along the Nzoia River have long held the soil particles together and provided shade, keeping the temperature stable. But the loss of these trees, accompanied with higher temperatures, unstable river levels, and landslides, has contributed to the loss of river reeds. Andrew tried growing the reeds with other water sources but could not get the same outcome.
Kumbuka hiyo, alafu nikapanda huku nyumbani. Na nyumbani ikakuwa katika mahali namna hivi. Na nikileta maji mengine ya kuingiza inaenda chini. Lakini nikichukua maji ya Nzoia inafurahi inaenda juu. Lakini tu mradi maji ya Nzoia peke yake. Nimefanya hiyo utafiti maji mengine.
In addition to conservation efforts like replanting indigenous trees, Slow Food is working on creating more marshy areas for the reeds to grow.
The river reed salt really does well in the waters from the river. We were thinking that if we try a little bit to divert some of these water from the river and have a marshy area, plus some of the rocks, we can actually try to see whether we can increase the number of reeds, because I know that as the people continue knowing about this particular salt, there will be high demand.
This project, coupled with increased market exposure for river reed salt, aims to help producers like Andrew and his sons maintain their work alive for future generations.